6.4 refers to the fourth section of the sixth chapter of Osaka, Osaka. This chapter deals with the Meiji era. That's the time after Perry's visit, after the shogun fell, and it is when Japan opened to the world. This video is provoked by a conversation I had with my university students. We were talking about the era, and I asked them if they knew why Eiichi Shibusawa was on the new 10,000 yen bill. They said he's a super businessman, the father of Japanese capitalism, and a banker, which is all true. He was involved in the establishment of many of Japan's largest companies. So I asked them what he did in Kansai, where we live. They didn't know. So I gave them a hint. I said it has to do with cotton. They still didn't know. So I decided to do this video on Osaka Spinning Company. With the fall of the shogun, Japan suffered political instability and economic uncertainty and war. It was a very turbulent time. And when the dust settled and Japan opened to the world, it found itself centuries behind the rest of the world technologically. Textiles had long been important, especially in the Osaka area, but it, like everything else, was so far behind it could not compete. And this is where the Osaka Spinning Company comes into the picture. Under the guidance of Shibusawa-san, it was the first coal-powered, steam-driven factory in Japan. And following the Imperial Palace and the Military Academy, it was the third site in Japan to get electricity. And this allowed for working around the clock, 24 hours production, which fostered my next question for my students. Who did the work? Who were the factory workers? They didn't know, or maybe they just forgot. It was young girls, very young girls, and they worked hard and long. 12-hour shifts, 6 or 7 days a week. The modern Japanese industrial economy was built on the back of young girls. This is not to criticize Shibusawa-san. He was a good man. He cared for the workers, he built dormitories, he made sure the girls had health care. It's just that some of the people who followed in his footsteps were not as caring as he was. And it should be noted that many of these girls came from impoverished rural areas where their families struggled to feed them. And it was not much different than Britain and the United States, where young girls worked in the factories. The girls were overworked. And my point is simply that they deserve some recognition. People should not have to be reminded of their contribution. Something should be done. I don't know what. Shibusawa-san is on the 10,000 yen bill. Something should be done for the girls. I don't have any specific ideas. If someone has ideas, put them in the comments. I just think something should be done.